Hello, my name is David Choe, and I'll be presenting on wine for my food topic presentation today. I'd like to start with a quote found in the Talmud. It says, "Wine is the greatest of medicines. Where wine is lacking, drugs are necessary." And I think this is such a great example of the significance and the importance of wine throughout cultures and throughout our day and age right now. Just to begin, I'd like to say that in order to understand wine, you must first begin with a discussion of the grape plant itself. The common grapevine, or Vitis vinifera, is an extremely common species found in every temperate region of the world, grown on every continent except Antarctica, and has around 50 species, which makes sense because of the large diversity in terms of selection for different wines. Um, in terms of the biological description, members of the Vitaceae family are normally characterized by these woody and dendritic lianas, also by these coiling tendrils that you see in vineyards that are so iconic. One very interesting part about the biology of the grapevine is that they have evolved to become hermaphroditic and also they're able to cross-pollinate within themselves. This allows for a superior product and it eliminates the need for supply and correct ratio of male to female plants in vineyards, allowing for easier cultivation. In terms of the biogeography, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint exactly where the grape and the grape plant originates from, but it's thought that it originated in the Neolithic era, about 6000 BC, in Eastern Europe, and it is said that the transition from the hunter-gatherer societies where the people might have just picked the berries from the plant, and that transition to settlements and agricultural societies marked the cultivation of grapes and the subsequent production of wine. So, you can see here that the plant moved from Eastern Europe to the Fertile Crescent to the Nile Valley and ultimately to Asia and ultimately to the rest of the world. Today it is the most widely grown plant, and like I said before, it is grown on every planet. Traditional uses, as wine has been around for so long, it has so many different uses, mostly as a beverage, but some interesting ones that I've found are that Hippocrates, an ancient healer, prescribed wine for the treatment of jaundice. One quote from Pliny the Elder, who was also an ancient healer, said that there are two liquids that are specially agreeable to the body: wine inside and oil outside. And this just shows the significance of wine as a medicinal food in this time. In ancient Greece, wine was also an indicator of class and social role. Soldiers would be given good wine as medicine, and diluted and inferior forms of wine would be given to slaves and laborers. We also see that in the biblical instance where Jesus was given a wine or a vinegar product on the cross. We also see that a very interesting example where wine was used, where linen fabric would be soaked in the wine, salted, and left to dry, and it would make an armor for soldiers in battle. So you can see the very diverse uses of wine in traditional knowledge and throughout different cultures. In terms of the chemistry and nutrition, this is probably one of the more promising fields about the study of the grape and wine itself. There are a large amount of secondary metabolites ranging from vitamin E to phenolics to flavonoids and the very famous resveratrol. And not just in wine or the fruit itself, but also in the grape seed. There are many antioxidant properties found in the grape seed. Probably the most important compounds are the stilbenoid group because they contain the resveratrol, which is a very significant antioxidant compound. In terms of the biological activity and research done, we see that the antioxidant potential in grape seeds were 20 to 50 times more potent against oxidation than compounds from vitamin C and vitamin E. We also see this inhibitory action also against bacteria such as the Streptococcus mutans, and many of the studies done show this kind of antioxidative and inhibitory properties of wine, as well as grape juice, but not in any other compound. But it is also important to consider the contraindications. This is mostly from the toxicity of the alcohol within the wine itself. There are disadvantages, some ranging from gastric distress to gastric cancer, heartburn, alcoholism, and this is the kind of trade-offs that we have when dealing with wine as a medicine, but also as a food itself. The economic impact of wine is large. It has always been a precious commodity, a valued beverage, and this still holds true in our current economy. The wine industry is comprised mainly of a handful of separate economic niches and branches. The United States has a range of different wines on the market and in different qualities and different prices. Um, I think most importantly, there's a shift from consumption just in the old world, which would be Europe and the Mediterranean, to the New World, such as the Americas and Australia. The United States alone has had an overall economic impact of wines, grapes, and grape products of $162 billion in 2007. I think this just goes to show the huge cultural, social, and economic impact that wine has currently and how deeply integrated it is into our culture. I think just to finish off my discussion, I'd like to talk about how wine has transformed from just like a social, festive beverage to the daily, integral, and cultural traditional symbol that it is today. There is a large interplay between this cultural, social significance and its medicinal potential. It was basically killing two birds with one stone. You get a beverage that is clean, pure, but also that can serve to heal ailments in the body. But all this said, it does truly blur this line between food and medicine, as well as medicine and poison. And like we always say, it is always about intent and dosage.